Hey everybody. Well, we've had a little snow since we were here last. But warming up for a day or two, and next week it is supposed to get real cold. But thought I'd do a little quick update of where we're standing on stuff. Start out here with the guys. How we doing, guys? Lomax there and Greystone, they will be, what do they got now? A little over 2 more months and they'll actually be a year old. So their 1-year birthday is coming up. And Stony, just about his 2-year birthday is coming up here in a couple more months. So, and I think I've made a decision. This year we used these 3 plus stews. So I had 4 rams I used for breeding. But I thought we're not going to do anything nearly like that before. Have these 3 left. I think I've decided Greystone is probably going to be the one I'm probably going to sell. I think we'll see about doing something with Greystone down the line, sell him or whatever we're going to do. But I think I've decided I want to keep 2. I think we'll do Stony. I want to do Lomax because Lomax comes from Long Shot, so I got a little attachment there to that one. So I thought those 2, and those 2 seem to get along the best. Those 2 seem to get along pretty well. I love the color on Greystone. I mean, it's always been the color on him. I've always really liked the color. That's really what got me started with Greystone to begin with, was his coloration and everything. But if we're going to keep 2, I think it's got to be Stony and Lomax, and we'll see. We'll either sell Greystone or do something. Maybe somebody wants Greystone. We'll put him out on the feeler on the market and see if somebody wants to. If not, I guess we can have lamb chops again. I don't know. We'll see what happens with him. But anyway, we're going to get down to just the 2. I think that's what we're going to do with just those 2. Let's get over to the ewes. We'll show you them and kind of let you know what we're planning as we're starting to get a little bit closer. All right, guys. Well, let's take a look at the girls. Here we are. Somebody's got to play with this ball right about now. And there we go. Got all the girls. We are about 6 weeks away. Should be right at about 6 weeks, something like that. So, seeing a few bellies here and there around. Hey, that's enough. Got a chance to run a little bit of an experiment here. We mentioned we have 11 out of 13 bred. We had 5 2022 ewe lambs. We bred those, we got 3 out of 5. Now, a lot of times if people tell you, you don't breed them in the first year. You know, these are bred early. They should be 1 year old. About the time they lamb, someplace say that's about what you want. A lot of people say, no, you shouldn't do that. You shouldn't breed that first year. You should hold them off another year and go longer. I guess I haven't been one of those that felt that way. I do it. If they breed, they breed. If they don't, they don't. But a lot of people tell you, well, they get the size, their size will be better, so you let them grow. And maybe there is something to that. But we're going to have a chance to run a bit of an experiment here. Now, first I want to show you, I want to take this brown and white ewe, get her, there we go. Get that brown and white ewe right there. You can see her for size. And now we come over here to this black and white one there. We'll catch up to him here in just a second. And you can see there's not a lot of difference. There she is way in the background. There's the black and white one. They're fairly similar. I would say those 2 are pretty similar to each other. And the difference is they're both 2019 ewes. The black and white had a lamb when she was a year old. The brown and white, standing right there, did not. So there's 2 that one lambed when she was a year old, the other didn't lamb till she was almost 2. Today, 2 years later, you really can't hardly tell the difference between the 2 of them. Now, they are different sires, different dams, so that's hard to say. But let's take a look at these 2 little guys right here. The 2 white ones right here. front one's got a dirty spot in the leg, and the other one's got a little brown back there. Right now, the way it appears, one of those is bred and one of them's not. And they're twins. So we have a set of twins, and currently it looks like one's bred, one isn't. This may give us an idea down the line. If it stays that way, this may give us something we can really compare. You can come back in a couple of years and take a look and say, okay, two twin sisters, one lambed at a year old, one didn't. So did it make a difference later on down the line? We'll have to see. I think our boys, I got our boys all, did I get our boys all a little excited here, Stony, huh? You and the guys, everybody running around, you get all excited? Yeah, they figure they got to do a little running around too. Anyway, we'll get an opportunity maybe to see, run our own little experiment. If holding one back, does that make a difference or doesn't it make a difference? And we all have to remember also, the two that we showed that were not bred, we did the ultrasound on those at 31 days after the ram had come out. It's possible they could still be bred because you really need to go at least 30 days to know, to get a good idea. And we were so close to that, you never know. They could have got bred just a day or two before the rams went out. They could be bred, but we're gonna just assume they're not. So now, in case you're getting ready, maybe this is your first spring lambing, and you're kind of wondering, what do I need to do? Or do I have to have special stuff or stuff like that? We're going to show you. I'm going to show you what I'm going to set up. But we want to take, if I can get Callie, there you go, the brown one. She's got the black on the throat, looking at you now, a little white in the head, and the light brown. That's Callie. Callie is a full sister to Long Shot. And let's go back to February 2021. And here in February 2021, there's Callie, there's Long Shot, and that is the day they were born. And on that day, it was 8 degrees above zero at noon when they were born. It was 24 below that night and 24 below the following night. So their first 2 nights here, it was 20 below. Doesn't seem to make much difference. They did really fine. Matter of fact, I was impressed. They wouldn't even go get underneath the heat lamps. They laid sometimes by mom, sometimes just together by themselves and not even around the heat lamp. So, but let's kind of go inside. I want to show you something of what I'm figuring. We've got them under cover here. They'll probably be locked in so they won't be out in pasture when we get there. In March, we should be looking at better weather in March. But we could still be looking at snow. I've been leaving the door open here. The area around, I kind of did some cleaning here the other day. It was pretty damp back in here. With this snow we had, we got about 2-3 inches of snow. Then I got rain. Then we got sleet. And then we got another 2-3 inches of snow after that. So it was getting kind of wet up in here. I ended up opening the door to the catch pen, put some bedding, decided to let them go in there. So let's go inside and I'll show you what I'm thinking of doing once we get here to mid-March, depending on the weather. All right, see if I can get acclimated to the light being out where all that snow and stuff was. The catch pen here, if you're not familiar, it's 40 feet long and not quite 10 feet wide. So once we get in to where we're getting close to March, where we might be having some moms, I will probably bring them in and let them stay in this whole area. I mean, there's only 13 of them, and I'll probably have them outside during the day, then close the big door, lock them in this 10 by 40 area overnight. Then, if I get a ewe that has lambs, I can close this gate down and close her in the backside with the lambs, and then still leave this rest of the area for all the rest of them out here. So I'm not really going to put them in small pens to begin with, but I think I will probably start locking them in at night when we start getting close. Again, that may depend on the weather. March around here, mid-March, I could be looking at 40 degrees at night and real nice. Hey, they can stay out in the dry lot pen, no big deal. But if I could also be looking at snow on the ground just like this around here mid-March. The second thing I'm thinking of doing, let's come in here, see if the camera light will adjust a little. I brought in, I have some 6-foot chain link panels. I've got some shorter gates that are about 5-6 feet long, 4 feet tall. And what I'm thinking I might also do is just come inside here, and I can come out 6 feet from this wall, come out, and I could actually make 2 or 3 pins in here. So what I can do then is leave them all out there. When I have a ewe has lambs, I can now sort her out back in there if I want, and then the next day, come around, bring her and the lambs, put her in a pen here. What I'd probably do is just stick another ewe in a pen next to her, one that I may think is getting close, just so she's not by herself. But I could probably set about 3 pins in here, maybe 6 foot square. That would hold 3 ewes with lambs. They can stay that way for 2 or 3 days, move them out, bring something else in. But that's kind of my idea of what I'm thinking of doing, mainly because I could be looking at cold and snow. I could be looking at 50, 60 degree weather. In Nebraska in March, you just have no idea. But I'm going to be ready, just in case we end up with the snow. I want to be ready to cover both ends of it if I have to. Like I said, they've lambed out in the real cold. It hasn't been a problem. They are tough. And you're going to hear that from a lot. People are going to say, hey, yeah, they're tough. They can handle everything. They'll lamb in the snowdrift. No big deal. You know what? They're right. They will. But if you got a place to go with them where they can stay dry, out of the wind and warmer, why wouldn't you do that? I mean, all you're doing by bringing them in and treating them a little better, if you have the ability to do that, is upping your odds that more of them are going to live. So that's kind of the way I look at it. Give them the best chance of surviving. Best chance of surviving is going to be when they're real little, if I can. Bring them inside, keep them where they're a little bit out of the weather. My hay bale, this is the hay bale. I had started the fall last November with about a hay bale just a little bit bigger than this, left over from last year. I used it, and this is my first round bale from this year's. So that's it. I've probably gone through, over a round bale. Not too much over, but a little over a round bale. I'm hoping that lasts for 2 or 3 weeks yet, or at least 2 weeks, because starting in about 2 days, we're going to see about 5 to 10 degrees for highs and 5 to 10 below zero at night, and that's below 0 Fahrenheit, not that centigrade stuff. So I'm hoping that won't last maybe a week, something like that, and it'll warm back up. So I'm hoping that lasts till we get back to it's a little bit warmer. Makes it a little nicer for me to get the tractor out and start moving around bales and stuff like that. So anyway, that's where we stand. 6 weeks to go. And we'll be looking at babies. We'll see if the camera really wants to adjust to the new light out here. I bet probably drives the camera nuts to go from a dark building out to bright sunshine. But everybody's looking good. I'm happy right now. They all look pretty good shape. Say I'm happy with that. And I did want to keep you up a little on what I'm doing, especially if you're getting ready to lamb yourself. Maybe I'd give you an idea or two, something what I'm thinking of doing, or a little peace of mind that, hey, don't worry, even if it's cold and snowy, we've lambed them that way and they really haven't had a problem. They can get by pretty good. If not, I'll check with you again, maybe in a couple weeks. We'll see where we go from there.